The puck, he uses his stick well. Kind of your prototypical Swedish defenseman. He's got a lot of strengths. He's carried, I think, what he does well into the game. Sometimes you get guys that it's hard to transfer. You kind of lose yourself. He's fun to play with. I've enjoyed our time together.
Do you think that your games kind of mesh well? Like, how do you feel the chemistry between you guys coming?
I think it's strong, and I think with more time it would only get better. I think strength for strength, we do a lot of similar things. He moves the puck quick. It's on the tape. He doesn't kind of overlook for better plays. He kind of just makes the one that presents itself, and that's a good trait to have early success in NHL, and then be cool to see his upside.
You've been through a lot of pro camps now. What kind of stands out about this one? Is it the depth and
I think it's the
competition?
depth,
Yeah.
the speed with which we're able to play day in, day out. I think the skill level is just really high. I'm trying to think back to, throughout the whole camp, like the amount of players that you watch on the ice. Like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We got a lot of those guys.
Does that infuse the organization too with confidence and excitement, knowing just what steps to take?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you talk about strength of your group and strength of your team. That all matters, but you got to have the horses too. You got to have a good team with good players. Those have traditionally in the last little while. You have to have that, what if you call it, star power or skill level, to be ultra competitive in the NHL, to be in that top of that pyramid. You need that, and then you need it all throughout your lineup too. You need lines at 2, 3, 4, and defensemen, 4, 5, 6 that can hurt you too.
What stands out about Rosen off the ice that kind of allows him to handle everything that comes with being in an NHL training camp and the pressures of trying to make a team like this?
I always, my opinion, the hardest thing to do in terms of NHL, guys talk about the off-ice pressure, whether it's the schedule, the travel, whatever it might be. I think the hardest thing to do is play at an NHL pace, think at an NHL level, hockey sense-wise, and I think he's shown that. So I think his off-the-ice, demeanor is enriched by his game. He's able to he's comfortable with himself because he is confident.
How about your game as an individual? How do you think your game's kind of grown over the summer? What are you happiest about? I
think for me, it's about knowing the things that I do well and doing it more consistently. I think there were times last year, where there were spurts of myself watching video thinking, that's a good NHL defenseman. Then there were other times where I wasn't happy with the reads that I was making in that. And that's the beauty of the NHL. It's not one game. It's an 82-game season. You got to bring it. Ideally 9 games out of 10. So for me, it's that growth in terms of consistency and ceiling. You want to be a more consistent player. You want to be a better player.
No worries.
More often. Getting active. No.
How much more growth was there, given the playoff experience you've garnered in the A and the NHL the last 2 springs?
Hugely important. I think, until you have that playoff experience, you're kind of imagining what it would look and feel like. So to have a taste of the real thing is a good thing. Hopefully the second time around this season. I think that experience bodes well for all the guys that were part of that league.
What have you noticed about Austin in, I guess, his first full NHL training camp? Yesterday, last night, Freddie was saying he seems hungrier at times.
That's the word that was coming to mind. Yeah. He looks super poised to take a run at anybody in terms of what his ceiling is and the conversation of players that he wants to be in. It's very clear where he's heading. I think it's easy for us to see it as spectators. My guess would be that he's starting to feel it too, that he's getting that encouragement from some of the improvement he's had in his game over the summer, and you can just tell Mats he's hungry. And it's super contagious. I see a guy like that out there working. You got to bring it.
Is it the look in his eyes? Is it the different types of plays he makes on the ice? How does that manifest itself the most for you, and how do you see it?
I think it's demeanor, command of the way he's coming into face-offs, the speed with which he's attacking through the neutral zone. Kind of less looking for permission to be that player that he is. I think he's just going out and doing it, and it's all preseason, you know. None of them count towards the regular season, but for sure, I think, popping a couple of makes you feel better about the year that you're poised to have.
I know you've been around him for a while, but does he still do stuff in practice and games that you just go, wow, like how did he manage to pull that off?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's the challenge is not to overhype it as a player, but there's definitely glaring moments of athleticism and skill that are unique to players in that percentage of the game, where you watch something and the pace at which he's able to do it, the confidence, and then it ends up in execution is super impressive. He's the real deal.
I know people will look at his offense and be kind of overwhelmed by the goals, but his defense and that kind of doggedness away from the puck, is that as
doggedness, hungriness, kind of perseverance through plays, strip a guy 1, 2, and 3 times. I think that's kind of the evolution with NHL players that end up being very, very good. They have the puck their whole life, so it's not defense as much as it is effort and attitude. It is a skill, and I think the only way to work on that skill is to have to play it. I can't imagine he grew up without the puck on his stick a whole lot. I'm sure his youth statistics would probably show that. And so good for him. It's probably something where he's got to put the puck away and purposefully work on it, in the summer and get back on guys and things like that. But kudos to him. He's doing it.